my friends, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. Today's video will be the next installment in our Party Banter video series. Enjoy!
So, you know that I'm a Templar, right?
I believe what I heard was that you were not, in fact, a Templar. You were trained as one before you became a Grey Warden.
That's right, but I still have all the abilities of one, of course. That doesn't make you nervous.
Should it? I am no apostate. Perhaps you should be directing this question at Morrigan.
She claims not to be afraid of me, or anything, really. But you've had more experience with the Templars than her. I know how mages can sometimes...
The Templars serve a function, and a necessary one. If what has happened at the tower proves anything, it is that we mages can be dangerous, even to ourselves.
That's one way of looking at it.
And regardless, you seem like a decent enough young man. If you decide to slaughter me out of hand, I'm sure you would at least inform me first, no?
Oh, sure. Count on it.
I couldn't help hearing about your predicament. Forgive me if I'm prying.
Yes, you are.
But what does it feel like being possessed by a spirit?
Why does this interest you so?
I simply wish to get to know those that I travel with. Is that wrong of me?
No, of course it isn't. Well, let me see. It is hard to describe. It is comforting. I feel safe, loved.
Comforted, loved, yes.
It is like being held close, cradled. The bond is so complete that I am unable to extricate myself, nor do I wish to. Wait, why do you have that look on your face?
I am simply imagining it. Continue, please.
And there is a constant warmth that spreads outwards from the very center of my being, infusing my body with...
Oh...
Andraste's grace, what are you thinking about now? No, I don't want to know. I feel dirty. Do not speak to me.
These markings of yours, they have a certain appeal. They remind me of how we used to paint our faces in Orlais.
Ah, but these are not just paint.
Do they mean anything to you, these symbols?
Some do. Some symbols are sacred to the cross. I am not permitted to tell you what they mean. Others are there to accentuate the lines of the body, its curves and musculature. It is hard to explain with armor and clothing on.
But I don't recall seeing many markings on your body.
Ah, no. Of course not. They are not in the places you have yet seen. I can show you if you wish.
No. I think not.
Is this a problem?
Not at all. I'm merely content looking at the markings on your face, that is all.
Have it your way. Should you change your mind?
You'll be the first to know, don't you worry.
So, I imagine it has been some time for you, Leliana.
Some time for me? I do not know what you mean.
Some time since you last knocked boots, shall we say? You did just come from the cloistered life, no?
Of course it has been some time. There are more important things in life than knocking boots, Zevran.
Oh, I'll not argue that. I simply mean that the body has urges given to us by the Maker. Yours must be considerable after all that time.
That is a very personal question.
I mean no offense. I simply offer my services should you ever feel the need for release.
You kind to think of my well-being, so Zevran.
Let it never be said that I am not available when the call for help goes out.
We have many things in common, Zevran.
Other than our purity and beauty.
We both spent many years in places other than Ferelden. You are an assassin, and I a bard.
Then you were called upon to kill.
Often. I didn't like it, but I did it anyway.
You didn't like it? You didn't like the thrill of the hunt?
I suppose. I did like that. The hunt. Not the killing.
The killing just signals the end of the hunt. Without it, the chase goes on. You killed your marks cleanly, I hope.
Whenever possible.
Good. When the prey is caught, it deserves a good death. A clean death. Perhaps you are right. We have much in common.
I did not realize that you were a woman.
That is because I am not. I am a golem.
But you were once a woman and a dwarf. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
The bard speaks of someone who lived and died 5 centuries ago. What have I in common with her?
You share a soul.
I do not. It talks in riddles. Desist or I shall crush its head.
Have you given any thought to your future, Shale?
I was thinking I might, join the chantry, become divine, and have giant Andraste golems fashioned to conquer the lands.
Truly?
No.
It was a serious question. One day the quest of these Grey Wardens will be finished one way or another. What will you do then?
The quest of the Grey Wardens is to destroy the Darkspawn, I thought.
Oh, so you share a larger purpose with them? Is that your ultimate goal?
I had not given it much thought. It might be better than slaughtering every bird in existence.
Well, yes, at the very least. It's worth thinking about.
Do you miss the life you once had, Shell? These centuries of memories you have lost?
Does it miss being within its mother's womb?
Do I... Well, no. I don't remember that far back.
It is no different. My memory stretches only so far, and what went before is now lost.
And you remember nothing at all? Not even a little bit?
There are images, faces who I have no names for, places I remember being, but not where they are. Do I miss these things? They are without context. I feel only disquiet when I think of them.
Like dreams, then. When you awake, all the details have fled.
Is that what it is to dream? Then yes, perhaps it is like that.
How very sad. To discover your entire life has been a forgotten dream. I am so sorry.
So I am led to understand that the sister is a follower of this maker.
Am I the sister? Oh, that's so cute. It's like you're my big brother. Or sister. Or whatever.
I was a dwarf in life, so I doubt such a thing would even be possible.
Oh, I didn't mean literally. Don't you think that people can be related in spirit?
I notice that humans tend to believe in a great number of things that are not true, even when given evidence to the contrary.
Believing in things when there is no proof is what faith is all about, Shale.
Believing in things when there is no proof is what gullibility is all about.
So I am gullible now.
I take it we are no longer sisters in spirit. Has the Elder Mage ever encountered another golem?
I suppose there used to be one deactivated one stored in the tower's vault. I wonder what became of it. After all that's happened to the Circle, I'd be surprised if it isn't completely destroyed.
Why was it deactivated? Did it crush some arrogant mage's head after one too many commands?
I do not know, Shale. Perhaps it is just irreparably broken. I think it stayed in the tower because no one could move it. It is very, very old. I believe it came from Banter a long time ago. Perhaps someone bought it so it would guard the tower.
Its people do enjoy their slaves, don't they?
It was not a slave. It is a...
A tool. As I thought. No, don't deny it. No. Why does the bard stare at me so?
I was thinking of writing a song about you. The statue with a heart of gold. Or something like that.
It thinks my heart is made of gold. It is stone as anything else. Cold stone.
I meant that you had a good heart. It seems to me that you do.
And they call this having a heart of gold? Why?
Because gold is precious and shiny and a good heart is just as valuable.
Shiny.
In a manner of speaking.
My heart does not qualify as shiny. I kill, frequently, and not without pleasure.
You have had a difficult life. Deep down at the center of your being, you are a good person. I believe that.
Even though I have never demonstrated this aspect? How peculiar.
You aren't all stone, Shell. There is a person inside of you.
If so, it is because I ate him.
I do not understand why you hate birds so much.
It is because I had to endure their chirping Their perching, and most especially their constant
No, I understand that part, but they were just being what they are.
Exactly. Disgusting vermin with wings. Darkspawn must be exterminated for being what they are as well.
But a bird is a creature of grace and beauty. They open their mouths and they sing.
The bard hears music. I hear a wail of banshees that boils my blood.
But what about a nightingale? Or a swan?
They are not pigeons, it is true. Still, evil beasts of the sky.
I give up.
I have thought about what you said before, Shale. About slavery.
It is profitable, so I am led to believe.
It is wrong. And it is no more right to make a slave out of a golem. I think no one understood how golems were made, Shale. Perhaps we should have suspected, but no one knew. Golems were like spells. Useful.
I am useful. I'm better than any fireball, that I'm sure of.
It's not the same thing. When this is over, I will make certain that the Circle of Magi knows the truth. Your people should not be treated as objects.
I have no people. I mentioned the slavery because I knew it would be bothered. No other reason.
But it still deserves to... You are a very perverse creature, you know this?
It almost wishes it had a control rod, no? I may have a cause to apologize to the sister.
Apologize? For what?
For suggesting that the sister was gullible for believing in things which were not real.
Oh, that! I'd already forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me.
I suppose it would offer some comfort to believe that things occur according to some grand purpose. All those years I spent in Honleith, unable to move, it would be comforting to think there was some reason for it.
Do you know there wasn't? Perhaps the Maker did it to bring you here, to us. You once said that you had no purpose. Perhaps you are simply looking for it in the wrong place.
Perhaps. I shall think on this. I have thought about what the sister said.
Our last talk. And?
I would like the sister to explain to me the purpose of birds.
Birds? What kind of birds?
Any kind. The evil little demons that strafe the ground with their droppings. What reason could your maker have for such things?
The same he has for any evil, such as the Darkspawn, if one were to equate the two.
I have a difficult time believing in any higher power that would inflict evil upon the world. Does it enjoy such jests?
Perhaps there is a lesson to learn in it. Not all lessons are easy, Shale.
It's any wonder this maker has so many followers. I mean, birds. What was he thinking? I have thought a little more about the sister's maker.
He's not just my maker, Shale. He's your maker too. He created everything.
I happen to know exactly who my maker is.
I think you're wrong. The important part of you, that part which makes you, you, he made that.
And the sister simply believes this, even though there is no proof?
I do.
And the sister still believes that she and I could be sisters, in spirit?
I do. I think that would be nice.
I suppose there are worse things that could happen. Like being assaulted by a flock of pigeons.
I'm glad to hear it.
The sister has interesting footwear.
Oh. You like shoes, do you?
My mass is considerable. Some cushioning on my feet would be ideal, but I doubt such footwear could be made.
I could see some nice thick sandals being made, with very thick leather straps. Oh yes, that could be done. Perhaps we could find some cobbler who could give it a try. What color would you want?
Surely the color is unimportant.
In fact, the color is very important. That, and picking a shape that makes your ankles look slender. And you could use some help there, I fear.
I have thick ankles.
It's all right. I don't like my thighs. What's important is working with what you have.
Very well. I wish my shoes to be red.
Oh, bold choice. We'll have to remember that.
It seems I must retract a statement I made earlier. The Elder Mage is not at all like my former master.
Oh, that's a good thing, is it?
It is, unless you happen to like having your head crushed. Not that I remember doing that.
You know, I think I even remember who you speak of. His name was Wilhelm, yes? From the Free Marches?
It was Wilhelm of shrill voice and the control rod that he enjoyed wielding very much. Any more than that, he did not divulge.
Well, if it was the same man, he had quite the reputation. A scholar of some means who disappeared mysteriously.
Mystery solved. I killed him. I expect I smiled, much as I'm able to.
You do speak your mind, don't you?
Fortunately, no other part of me has anything to say.
You're such a handsome dog. I think that every time I look at you. Lady Cecily, I lived with her after my mother died, had a dog. A small one bred to fit under the arm and in the lap. What did you name it? Oh, yes, Bonbon. Oh, Bonbon was a terror. He would hide, you know, when he saw you coming. And then he would attack your ankles. Rather sharp teeth in the ankles. Very painful. He attacked me once. Latched onto my leg. I thought it was a diseased rat and kicked. Bonbon flew across the room and over the banister. He survived. But he never came near me after that.
They say the Mabari is clever enough to speak and wise enough to know not to. Tell me, my friend, does this saying apply to you? Are you capable of speech and simply choose not to speak? Sometimes I think the world would be a much friendlier place if we could learn some things from animals. Nothing in the animal kingdom can match the worst qualities of humanity.
You know what would do you some good?
A pair of nose plugs?
Go out, find a girl. Doesn't matter who, as long as there's no pants involved.
What makes you think I haven't?
I can smell purity a mile away. It's a talent.
That proves to be useful, I'm sure.
Not that often, it turns out. Be much better if I could smell cheese.
You have my deepest condolences.
Yep, so do you.
So, you and Branka were really married?
Tell you what, boy. You ever been married?
Of course not. I was raised in the Chantry.
Think the hardest stone you can find. Marriage is for suckers.
So, no pitter-patter of little Ogwen feet running around the home cave, I take it?
All I ever got out of that moss liquor was a headache, a deaf ear, a scratched up back, and that rash it took 3 different ointments to get rid of.
Wow. She gave up on you, did she? And here you are, a keeper, too.
You know, Alistair, Antiva has a long tradition of royal bastards.
You don't say.
Oh, yes. They've led wars to claim the throne. Some of them have become kings. In fact, I'd say the current royal line in Antiva stems from bastard blood several times over.
Well, aren't you just chock full of useless trivia today?
Sadly, whenever a royal bastard rears their head in public and declares themselves, it often goes poorly for them.
Let me guess. They get assassinated.
Only the very popular ones.
And the unpopular ones?
Well, they get by somehow, I'm sure. There was one fellow who did quite well working as a prostitute based on his uncanny resemblance to the king. Charged a fortune.
Couldn't afford him, I take it.
That cynicism will serve you well, my friend. Hold on to it.
What? You're drunk, aren't you?
Hey, was that a question? Didn't sound like a question.
How in the Maker's name do you manage to be constantly drunk? Are we even carrying that much alcohol with us?
Jealous, huh?
A little, yes. Why can't I be drunk all the time? I never get to be drunk.
You know, if you drank more wine, you'd whine much less.
So, are you a very religious man, Alistair? I'm curious. I believe I heard you say you were raised in an abbey.
I was raised in a castle. I was schooled in the abbey. As far as being religious, I don't know. Not especially. What about you? Not in your line of work, I expect.
Why do you say that? I happen to be quite devoted in my way, as most Antivans are.
Truly? But you kill people for money.
And I ask forgiveness for my sins from the Maker every chance I get. What manner of monster do you think I am?
But you ask forgiveness and then you go right on with your sinning.
The Maker has never objected. Why should you?
I have no idea.
Well, there you go. Perhaps you ought to think about asking for a little forgiveness yourself, huh? What exactly are you drinking, my fine dwarven friend?
You can't have any.
Do not worry. The stench is worse than your feet.
And what are you doing smelling my feet, huh? Is that some Antivan perversion?
It is difficult not to smell your feet. Perhaps in Antiva.
Now you're beginning to sound like Bronca.
Well, she must have been a dwarf with astoundingly clean feet.
So, Antiva. Wonderful place. Full of Antivans.
Ogren, if you want to bed me, you have only to ask.
What? Draw your weapon and say that again.
I jest, my foul-smelling friend. You are only slightly less attractive to me than a slime-filled pool of swamp water.
Better be.
You have my oath.
Bloody Antivans.
You never did answer my question about that filth you so enjoy.
That's right, I didn't.
How is it that you never seem to run out? Are you purchasing it somewhere?
Nobody sells the good stuff.
Then are you making it? I don't see a still at the camp. And you aren't walking around with a keg, so unless you're... Oh, no.
What? Where is that perverted elven mind of yours gone?
That would explain the smell. Suddenly, I'm not so interested in trying a sample.
I would have thought saving the surface would have involved less walking.
Little legs getting tired?
I thought these people had animals, horses and such.
In Orlais, perhaps, but not here. If you like, I could hoist you up on my back.
Hey now, don't start with the...
Yes, climb up, and I'll cart you around like a child. Marvelous fun.
You knife-eared pipe cleaner. You couldn't carry me on your best day.
Perhaps if you left behind the spirit, sold the weapons, and lost about 2 feet of beard.
I give up. Just keep walking.
So is it very strange for you, my friend, living in the world of the tall?
Here I thought I was living in the world of the nosy and the stupid.
It just occurred to me. Chairs are too high, tables are out of reach. Using the toilet facilities alone must be a lesson in humility.
I'm not bloody 2 feet tall, you swishy nuglicker.
And then the light. After all that gloom of Orzammar and the deep roads, it's a wonder you don't wander about squinting in pain.
It is bright, I'll give you that.
And oh, not to have a roof over your head. You must constantly fear that you'll fall up into that vast, endlessly open sky. One day you'll live within the surety of a mountain, and then gone. Nothing but vacuum. Nothing to stop you from being sucked up into the void. Nothing to...
Stop! One more word, and I chop you down where you stand.
You are a brave, brave little soldier, my friend.
Hey, Elf. You're all right.
Am I?
I was thinking that you're just all right.
Drunk again, Ogren?
Drunk again, Ogren? You sound like my father. He was all, "You're drunk, stop wetting on the table."
How dare he?
At least my mom had the good sense to hide the booze from him, so, she could drink where he couldn't see her.
That's heartwarming.
Hey, buddy, let's not go crazy or anything. Keep your pants where I can see them. I just don't understand you elves. Not one bit.
Oh? Where is your comprehension lacking, my friend?
These humans, they turn you all into slaves. What do they do now? They destroy your homeland. Twice.
What is your point, dwarf?
Well, I just don't understand. Why don't you just kill them all?
There are a great many more humans than elves, if you haven't noticed.
So? There's 100 humans for every dwarf, too, but you don't see us bending over and getting our pipes clean, do you?
That's big talk for a man who lives in a tunnel.
All I know is the dwarves would never stand for it. You'd think you elves would have learned to duck.
That must be it. Exactly. I think I have a joke for you, my fine dwarven friend.
Just don't expect me to laugh.
So, a human, an elf, and a dwarf are walking down a trail beside a stream, and they stop to take a piss.
All right, things are looking up. Continue.
After, the human takes out some soap and begins washing his hands. We humans have learned how to be clean and hygienic, he says to the others. The elf begins picking some leaves off the trees and wipes his hands with them. We elves do as tradition has taught us and use what nature has provided. The dwarf, meanwhile, has pulled up his trousers and is already on his way down the trail. And our ancestors, he calls back, taught us dwarves not to piss on our hands.
Shows what you know about dwarves.
So, that game you were playing in camp, what was that?
Diamondback. You never played Diamondback, have you?
That's Diamondback? I've heard of it. I thought it was a card game played by dwarven...
Go on, say it. Prostitutes. It's not true, of course.
It's not?
Course not. A noble hunter never charges money. Not if she wants to see him again, that is. Never saw one turn down a gift, though.
What does that have to do with card games?
Even a noble hunter can get bored. Tell you what, don't ever bet your clothes. They'll strip you clean and leave you naked in the street. Trust me.
I'll take your word on it.
Elf,
Ogren,
I have something to say to you.
I am all ears, as we elves like to say.
Well, now I forgot.
Alas.
Yeah, but just know I had something.
You've had several somethings, I suspect. It's part of your charm.
All right, I guess you aren't all that bad.
You just decided that, did you?
Well, I've watched you fight. You could be worse, I guess.
From you, that's practically a proposal of marriage.
Don't get excited or nothing. You're not what I'm looking for in a wife.
Considering what happened to your last wife, I'll count myself as fortunate.
So I have a question for you, Zeren. You're here, at least in part, to get away from the crows, right?
That is indeed true.
So when this is over, what do you intend to do with yourself? You can't go back to Antiva, I assume.
What I do depends in large part upon your fellow Grey Warden. I am not a free man, as it were.
Yes, but what if you could do whatever you wanted?
Oh, I don't know. Aren't you going to be king? Perhaps you have people you need killed.
Is there some reason I shouldn't just kill them myself?
See, it's that sort of talk that is bad for business. Have you no thought to supporting the employment of your subjects?
Not for assassins, I don't.
That's the lovely thing about kings. They make for good business as the client or the target.
And people wonder why someone might not want to be king.
Yep. A lot of tension around here.
You think so? Do you?
Know what I do to relieve tension?
I hesitate to wonder.
I polish the old weapon.
Really?
Yep. Give it a good shine with a dry rag, then with a little grease.
That's disgusting.
You're telling me you never gave your blade the old spit shine?
I think that's private.
Really? Sodding chantry and its rules. I like to do it right out in the open.
Where people can see you.
Yep.
Wait, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Never mind.
And that wraps up today's Party Banter video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow with another new Dragon Age Origins video.